Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to my commented games. Today I wanted to show you a game it was played today and it was between top grandmaster Liren and my landsman Ivan Šarić from Croatia, who's the current European champion. So the game was played on this 43rd chess olympiad in Georgia, and this is really a huge tournament because 185 countries are playing in this tournament, and there are top grandmasters there like Fabiano Caruana for the USA, Viswanathan Anand for India, of course, and I don't know, Anish Giri. We have Hikaru Nakamura, and well, this is a huge tournament, and of course the USA is first seeded. They have the best average of rating on their first four boards, but you see Fabiano Caruana, he get only a draw in a game against the Intermaster, who was rated above about 2400. So it's a tough tournament. You see, although the rating difference is huge, there are surprises in the tournament. So now this game that I wanted to show you today, I'm showing you because, well, I wanted to point you out this aggressive style of Liren, and he really breaks in this game some principles in chess. And when I get to that point, and I'll explain to you. So Šarić, Ivan Šarić deserves, of course, all of the respect because he managed even to win a game against Magnus Carlsen, and well, he is also a strong grandmaster. But today, I think he was too occupied with Liren and not with his play. So in one particular moment, he could take an advantage of the game, and of course, I'll show you that and what are the problems behind these moves. So, what to say about this guy Liren? I really like this grandmaster because the first thing, of course, he has this, well, aggressive potential here to play chess, and he is really an attacker. He is really an attacker, although it might sometimes not be the best for him, but he tries to play an attractive chess, and that's why I like his games. He plays similar, that's my opinion, to Levon Aronyan, who is also one of my favorite players these days, of course. And um, and I played in my life like a 500 games against this Liren. We played on a chess site, so he was always with me. He was warming up for a better tournament, and of course he always kicked my, and I don't want to say the rest of it, but he all really well, he was dominating me, and I managed to get one win and I think two draws, and it was really something. So that he's a nice guy. He always gave me tips and stuff like that. He explained me in some positions what to do or what not to do. That's even more important, what not to do, because basically you know what to do in chess, but you basically don't know what not to do, and that's the problem sometimes, because you make some moves and there's no turning back then from that game, and you get crushed very easily. So this game that I wanted to show you, it's has this sort of a flank attack. The subject will be the flank attack, and well, you will see the problem behind the flank attack here by Liren. We have d4, knight f6, c4, e6. We have sort of a Nimzo Indian. So far, Bogo Indian can be played, of course, knight f3. So here's the anti Nimzo Indian variation. So with this knight on f3, because when bishop to b4 comes, then we have knight from b to d2, and we don't need to play knight on c3, and well, have this double pawns, which always trouble us when we're playing against the Nimzo Indian. So of course, then black will do his fortress here on dark squares with d6, e5, and simply developing the bishop and gain a good control of the e4 square. While white will have to somehow try to open the position for his bishops, and this will be a sort of a battle against between a knight and a bishop. So from a battle between a close position against against an open position. So, but that's not the line that was played today. Of course, after bishop to b4, here Liren plays knight from b to d2, and you see you don't have now this worries to have double pawns, but there is this problem of this uncoordination of these two knights, because they are pointing at each other. Of course, you see the knight c3 would be much better, because also because of the development of the bishop, who could then come on g5 or even f4. It doesn't matter. Just pointing out that so far now the bishop is blocked. So we have castle, an early castle by Ivan Šarić, and well, the best move in this variation is the d5. You see, because white hasn't control of the center square of d5, because he hasn't played knight on c3. So d5 is possibility, you see, because you have also maybe threats to jump early into the game with the knight on e4. But after castling here, Liren plays a3, and now if the bishop takes simply this knight on d2, it's not so good, because you see the position is not closed. It will be an open position, and it's of course better for the bishops. We don't have double pawns, so that's why Šarić plays bishop to e7, and we have now e4. This is an aggressive style so far. Now white, well, he gained his advantage in the center, but of course Šarić can break it, and he does it with this move of d5. So we have now e5 attacking the knight on d7, and bishop to d3. We have c5, which is accurate. You see, the threat was of course even here to play c5, and then after that b4, and really block out black on the queen side. And you see, with this lack of development, I don't know where this knight and bishop would then go after c5 and b4. So this was sort of a positional threat, and believe me, if Ivan Šarić would have allowed c5 against Liren, he could simply give up the game. So we have c5 by black, and now comes this critical moment. So we have here already, well, sort of a flank attack. It's not completely a flank attack, but there are possibilities to play a flank attack. So there is this principle in a flank attack. The flank attack is basically possible when you gain control of the center of the board. So you see, I don't think here that Liren gained any central control with this pawns and pieces, because you see there is still dynamic situation here in the center. Pawns can be taken, and this is a risky move, and it really brings now the advantage for black, because the right continuation would have been knight on c6, and this knight c6 is this simple idea. With this principle, when your opponent plays a flank attack, you should strike back in the center. So this is the main idea here, and that's a simple rule of playing against flank attacks. You should attack the center, and the best here, we already played with our pawns, so the pieces must go out here with knight on c6, and now we challenge here white in the center what to do. You see, if now d takes c5, then the other knight comes very nicely into the game and attacking the bishop. So this would be now threat. You see, this attack is not so coordinated so far, because you see this bishop is not developed, and it's so far not so dangerous. You see, as said, I don't think that Liren gained here center control, and here Ivan Šarić could have taken the advantage of the game, but he played the move g6, and this is now a problem. This is now huge difference, because you see now with this advanced e5 pawn, and already creating weaknesses around the king on dark squares, This is really a problem. Of course, black will try to break the center, but Ding Liren will punish that with this huge initiative with the pieces. So what I liked about this game, it might not seem to you that it's sort of a brilliancy, but that's the games that I'm talking about. These are the games, the true games in chess. You have to move forward slowly. There, of course, we all like this I don't know, sacrifices of queens games and stuff like that, and attacks. But you see how chess, you must be patient, and this is how Ding Liren does it. He does it slowly but effectively. And I wanted to remind you again about this weakness in opponent's position. So you see, we have already by Ding Liren, he has already with his h4 move, he has played on the endangered move, endangered king after castling. So the rest of the game, he will play simply on this undeveloped bishop, and of course on some weak pawns, maybe here, and weak squares around in black's position. So here is the problem now for black, this light square bishop, and you see he plays simply onto that, and Ivan Šarić will have problems with this bishop to get out, and of course with this rook. So we have now castling, of course bishop to here h4 isn't so good, because white can take this dark square bishop, and then you don't have any protector of these dark squares, because white would go on in this game with this dark square bishop. So of course Ivan Šarić is not gonna go for that. So knight on c6 finally was played, and we have now knight knight on b3, liberating the bishop. So we have now d takes c4, bishop takes c4, and c takes d4, and now Ivan Šarić played in that principal style, so he get rid of the center, he attacked the center. But imagine just this position, the same position, if he hadn't played this move of g7. It will be perfectly fine position for him. It will be such a huge advantage here, because this pawn would be weak and would be an object of its attack. So you see this g6, you see one simple move. Of course it's still an equal position, but he could have gained control of the game in an early stage of the game. So we have now rook to e1 defending this e5, and we have now a5. Bishop to h6. Of course we are now attacking this rook, because there are some discovered attacks here on the king, and of course this rook is the protector here of this f7 pawn. So of course we want the rook out of the defense. So rook to e8 was played, and we have rook to c1. Perfectly. Now Ding Liren is fully developed here. He has only to play with his queen, and he has the pieces on the most active squares. So we have now knight on b6, bishop to c5, b5. You see the position is now even well, sort of a semi-closed position. You see this bishop, as said, will be a problem for Ivan Šarić, and he played a4. He tries to close the position on the queen side with the supported rook on this pawn. So no b4 playing so far, and we have here Šarić to Ding Liren takes on c6, b takes on c6, and now this pawn. You see Ding Liren isn't interested now to trade queens, and he has now a very nice knight who is attacking this c6, and he forces Ivan Šarić to play c5. And although now the bishop can come out, there are now really weak, you see these weaknesses in black's position, and with these two knights there are many possibilities to jump in. We have also here this weak square of f6, which of course could cause some troubles, and we have here now knight on c6 attacking the queen, and here after trade of queens Liren reacts correctly and takes the bishop on e7. We check first and then the queen with this e rook. So we have now rook to d7. Of course, you see there were even mating threats on d8, because you see now this, I hope you realize, these dark square problems for Ivan Šarić, and we have now trade of rooks. So of course Liren with this more activity in his pieces, he doesn't want to trade rooks, at least not in this stage. So after rook to d5, we have now knight on e4, and now he's of course interested to trade rooks, because you see now he has a better square for his knight, and this would really annoy this king, who is now left with non-protection from his pieces. This uncoordinated knight is on b6 is not so good there, and we have this bishop who hasn't played, and this rook is also passive, so the activity of course is on white side. So we have here now a knight on d7 defending the c5, but of course it can be taken, because after takes we can take the rook first, and then after that the knight on c5, what was played in the game, of course. And we have now bishop to e6. Although now the bishop comes out, it's really now only pinned to the defense of this d5 pawn, and it's a problem. And here Liren plays a really nice move in the endgame, rook to c6. So he waits, it's sort of a waiting move, and he waits to black play with the rook somewhere, and then he wants to go either here on the d6 to stop this pawn from going forward, or he can play on a6 and then go after this pawn. And of course for him would be better if he goes for this a4 pawn, because then if he managed to take him out, then he would have two connected pawns and two connected passed pawns, because there are no pawns anymore to stop them, and these two connected passed pawns of course will be hardly stopped by this bishop. So we have now rook to d8, and here Šarić makes a huge mistake. He should have protected this one, or at least going for this b2 to create a position. Well, maybe the Liren would have done one passed pawn, but two passed pawn connected, that's really a problem, as said. So we have rook to a6, d4, and now rook takes on a4, and we have now a problem, because after the d3 the bishop comes into the defense and it blocks the pawn to go further. And we have now h5. So here, well, this is sort of a defensive setup now, and Šarić goes for a draw here. It's obvious, because he wants maybe to take this pawn out and somehow block these two pawns. And here Liren plays f3, creating some space for the king to go also into the game. So f3 perfectly fine. We have rook to d5 and rook to a6. And here is where Šarić played his well, it was also a mistake, but the threat of course here after this one was if Liren takes here this pawn on e5, then comes bishop to c3, and we have sort of a threat here to mate even black with this again, I'm repeating myself, but with this obvious dark square problems. So we have now g5, h takes g5, and rook takes e5, and this is already now a losing game for black, because we have now rook to d6, and you see again the threat is bishop to c3, and then go with the rook on d8, and here Šarić at least protected here the pawn on d3, but we have rook to d4, bishop to a6, and now a4. You see now this is now the threat, a4, and we have b4 and then b5, and this would really challenge this bishop who is not placed very well on this a6. We have rook to e2, and we have now bishop to c3, rook to c2, and we have rook to d8, king to h2, h7, and rook to d6, and here's where Šarić resigned. So you see, Liren really blocked him out, although it was opposite colored bishops, but it's far away from a draw. You see, you can play sometimes because Liren created these dark square problems around this king, and of course now the threat is if the bishop goes somewhere. We have here then first check on h6 and then on h8 to checkmate. So this was the game, but as said, remember here in this position, I want you to realize here after h4, Ivan Šarić could have played knight on c6, and he would be perfectly fine. Now the problem is really here what to play, how to play, because you see black has attacked the center, and I will show you more from this flank attacks, and I will show you the basic rules and principles of the flank attacks. So I will show you that you will have to have a good central control. It doesn't always have to be with pawns. You can also have good central control with your pieces, and then maybe to create a flank attack. So if you like this video, please watch more of my basics in chess videos, which I'm showing you the link right now, and then I will continue to do these videos, and with these ideas of these flank attacks, so you can watch it and you can realize how and when to attack on the sides of the board. So thank you for watching, guys. Chess is the best.